This is English Channel.
それでは、はい、お時間となりましたので始めさせていただきます。2025
The 2025 ACK Talks is
コミュニティ形成を
hosting 9 talk sessions based on the theme 2050, A Vision Towards the Future, with the aim of enhancing our conference functions and building a community centered on culture and the arts. We will explore new perspectives and values for the years ahead. Together with the leading figures in modern art, we will reflect on new values for the future through discussions on themes such as art in everyday life, reinterpreting culture and sustainability, and the relationship between humans and technology.
するためのトークプログラムを実施いたします。このトークでは
So, in this session, we will welcome Takanori Inoko, founder of teamLab, to discuss some of the group's project in Japan and abroad. Together with Takatoshi Nishiwaki, governor of Kyoto Prefecture, and Koji Matsui, mayor of Kyoto City, we will explore how Kyoto's culture and regional character have influenced generations of artists and how new cultural forms are accepted and take root in this unique environment. The session will be moderated by Yukako Yamashita, ACK Fair Director.
皆様こんにちは。
Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for coming to the ACK talk show.
本日、このセッションでは
Today, in this session, we are talking about space-time in Kyoto when contemporary art becomes history.
参りたいと思います。ACK、この京都
So,
で
ACK, this is our 5th year in Kyoto, and originally, this was part of the cultural activities of Kyoto Prefecture, and now, still, Kyoto Prefecture is sponsoring us, and we are creating this art fair that connects the world in Kyoto.
京都という都市は
So, this city of Kyoto has the longest lasting history in the world, and
文化によって支え
and this is supported by the culture of Kyoto. So, with this background, for this past few years, the contemporary art scene in Kyoto is gathering a lot of attention from the world. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about that background history, and also talk about how this Kyoto, known as the cultural traditional city, how we can transform and continue to change, and then
取り入れながらどういう
how we can incorporate the power of modern art and then transform into a new city in the future.
作れたらと思って
Hopefully, we can find some interesting seeds of inspiration through this discussions. So once again, we have Inoko Toshiyuki-san from teamLab, and then Matsui Koji, mayor of Kyoto City, and then Nishiwaki Takatoshi, the governor of Kyoto Prefecture.
月10月にはですね
And back in October, around Kyoto Station, we had the largest teamLab, Biovoltics, opening up.
ACK
And this week, for ACK, there are a lot of inbound guests coming to the city. And I hope, I hear that many of those guests definitely want to try out this new teamLab location near Kyoto Station. So we'd like to talk about those initiatives that draw attention from around the world. So first, I'd like to ask you, Mayor and Governor, Kyoto is really a cultural city renowned in the world. But what are some of the
それを用いて
allures of Kyoto? And then how do you want to use that competitiveness to approach the international scene? Let's start from Governor.
京都府知事の西脇で
Hello, my name is Nishiwaki. I am the governor. Thank you very much, Inoko-san, for coming to this event. The Kyoto enchantment. Let me talk about how we say this in Kyoto. We usually say we have the 1,000-year tradition in this city that's embedded in our daily lives. For example, we have shrines and temples. It's not just a building. There are rituals, religious activities going on, and flower ceremony, tea ceremonies. We have less users doing that, but still they are in our daily lives. And then we have kyogen, kabuki, those traditional arts. And then we also have the food, cuisine. This the Kyoto food becoming part of our tradition has that definition as a recent thing compared to our long-lasting history. But for example, we also have the Kyoto behaviors, such as like sweeping in front of your house and then your neighbors, and also in summer we would splash water in front of this, the roads to get the temperature lower. So we tell them that we have a lot of these traditional behaviors. But what I talked with the mayor recently is, I was born in Kyoto City. I was raised here, so. We don't only have the travelers. We have people like Inoko-san, like artists, and we have researchers. We have company leadership that all come to Kyoto. What is the attraction of Kyoto? I think the outsiders know more about Kyoto than us. I think they find some sort of an additional layer of interest. And I can't really talk for them, but I think our local Kyotoans have to dig deeper and find out what is attracting people to Kyoto, and then think about what we should do for the next decade or two. But when we talk about Kyoto's attraction, it's not the object. It's more about the life, activities, and experiences. And then you don't have to, maybe there are people that are not living here locally, but there are many people that are connected to Kyoto and then come by every time. And I think that is how we create this attraction of Kyoto. I'm still, I don't have a full answer yet, but that's my thoughts. Thank you. What about you, Mayor?
京都市長の松井と申し
Hello,
ます。
my name is Matsui. I'm the mayor of Kyoto City. Thank you for inviting me. And just like Governor Nishiwaki, I am born in Nakagyo, Kyoto City. Nishiwaki-san is from Shimogyo, so we are from different wards, but same Kyoto City. And Kyoto, I totally agree with Nishiwaki-san, and to add on to that, we have 1.4 million people, but 150,000 students. And those students are always like circulating. So not like Tokyo, we don't like hold on to them. Many of them would graduate and go to different cities, and I am hoping they would stay here in Kyoto and contribute to Kyoto. But we don't like cling to them. So the city has this metabolism. You have more new people come in and then go as they graduate. So that's another attractiveness of Kyoto. So of the 1.4 million, 150,000 are that circulating population. That's very unique. Also, in the nation, there are 70,000 art students, but 10,000 of them are in Kyoto. So, we have 120 million people in Japan, and then in this city of only 1.4 million, we have 1/7 of the art students in Kyoto. Isn't that strange? Of course, we have many the temples and shrines, and we have the flowers, the tea ceremony. And you understand there is this traditional art, but we also have other art disciplines as well, and those people are here, and then they are metabolizing, they circulating. And here we are in this mountainous area here, right? When I looked at this the sofa, I thought that was one of the bears, because bear attack is really a big thing right now in Japan. But if you go to Kamagawa River, then you can see there's a beautiful nature, and then you can see how we are really living in a symbiosis with the nature. So it's not about us and against nature, or I think we are more accepting to foreigners and outsiders. And maybe some people say Kyoto people are not really welcoming, but that's not true at all. That we are really good at accepting new people, as you can see from the circulating population. So in addition to being a traditional city, I think we have this strong symbiotic nature with the nature around us, and then also we have this accepting culture, and then we are able to assimilate and integrate. And the locations of that could be like the cafes, the Kamagawa River, or maybe it's the public baths. But we have many of those touch points for those foreigners and locals. Right, I just wanted to add one more thing, I'm sorry. So we always say tradition and innovation. So we have to keep our traditions, but we have to change what we need to change. And ACK, because the Japanese market for modern art is small, and there are many great artists in Kyoto, but we still cannot create this association with Kyoto and modern art. That's why we started the ACK. And I am. I was talking with a no artist the other day, and then
演じてることとは多分全く違うっておっしゃる。
they were saying the no has changed from the time they were born and then now what they're acting. So they say their act are not just traditional things that are repetitive. They are always thinking of how it should be adapted to their modern day life. So I think no, although it's traditional art, it is ever evolving, ever changing in Kyoto. So people think Kyoto is old, traditional, but Kyoto is evolving. I think that's another attractiveness of Kyoto.
本当にこの循環する
Right. You said circulating people, and those people will bring in a new wind, new air to the city. I think that's what both governor and mayor were focusing on. And then last month in Kyoto, teamLab has made this new museum by Inoko-san.
そういった意味でたくさんの、新しい方たち
So
でこう
there are many new people who are going to come in contact with modern art or maybe technological art. I think it's an important hub for art. So now I would like to ask teamLab founder Inoko-san. First, we'd like to go over your introduction, and then I'd like to you to discuss about the teamLab new opening structure.
こんにちは、チームラボ。
Hello, my name is Inoko from teamLab. Nice meeting you.
えー
So, from 2001, I have been actively creating these things.
16年
In 2016, we first created a permanent installation in Singapore, and then we opened two in Singapore, one in Azabudai and one in Toyosu. And then,
今マカオ
and right now, we have one in Macau, and Jeddah, and Abu Dhabi,
京都にある、
and now we opened our next one in Kyoto.
京都はあと
So, I'll talk about Kyoto later, but first,
東京に2018
in Tokyo in 2018, we opened two locations.
年か
Right, in 2018, we opened two locations, and
Eh, 大体、
so
400万
we
人
have about 4 million, a little above 4 million people visit these two locations per year.
もらっ
And
きりがないのであれですけど、すごいわかりやすいの
I just wanted to show you one good example because, well,
Google 検索数で
with Google searches, we got fifth. I think number one back then was Paris Louvre. Number two was the British Museum, and then number three was Paris Orsay. Number four was the London's Nature Museum, and then we were fifth in the search results for Google. So the top four were all the major places, and then we were a number fifth on that ranking. So
されてて
there was this one moment in time where we were really being searched by people. So this is in 2023 and 2025 we received this award,
にアジアで
Asia's leading tourist attraction.
なんかアジアのなんていうんですかね 観光名所
So we became a touristic location in 2023 and 25. We were chosen, but there were like the Great Wall of China and Taj Mahal and other Angkor Wat, like other those major places. But we became first for those 2 years. So
です。で、
so that's what teamLab is, and this year, this spring, we opened up a new location in Abu Dhabi.
非常に、大きな
So this is a very large building, and in Abu Dhabi,
みたいな地区が
there is this cultural location, and there are 5 different museums.
その UAE の歴史博物館と
So there's the UAE History Museum, and then Science Museum, and in addition, there's
チームラボができたという
Louvre, Guggenheim, and teamLab. Louvre has opened already. Guggenheim is still under construction.
県
But well, the Guggenheim, I think the construction is taking time. So we opened before Guggenheim. So again, we have Louvre, Guggenheim, teamLab in this cultural area.
あります。これちょっと映ってますね。
So
これがルーブル。
there it is. That's Louvre, and that's Guggenheim. Oh no. Oh, anyways.
京都にも関係するんですけど、
So this is also related to Kyoto, but Abu Dhabi is called teamLab Phenomena. And
してるかというと
the features we have inside is
そのまあ今までは
so until now,
作
we
ってきたと思うんですけど、
I think the humanity has always been creating objects, things, and then that was how it characterized us as humanity. But here, what we're trying to say is the environment creates a phenomenon, and phenomenon creates existence. So that's the theme of Abu Dhabi. So rather than creating objects, we are creating the environment, and then that environment itself is going to create existence. So to give you more context, it's not like a physical existence, but in a specific environment, it's going to create a field and energy, and then it is going to give organized. It's going to give order, which that order itself is going to be some sort of a existence. So this is in Kyoto as well, but this is how things come to be. And at teamLab, we call that the environmental phenomenon. So that's what teamLab phenomena is.
で、今年
And last month, 2 months ago, sorry, we opened in Kyoto. Last month, okay, October. So we opened this, and then we have those kind of phenomena type of installations. But Kyoto, I think, has the highest number of art pieces.
まあ
And
すごい作品数が多いんですけど、
so we have a lot of different pieces.
以来やってきたような作品群から
some that have been going on from the beginning of our company until all the way to the latest ones like the Phenomena that's in Abu Dhabi. So we have everything old to new.
まあその1階は映像中心
The
で
first floor is mainly visual, but
まあそれらはまあ1階は映像中心
so again, first floor is mainly visual, video type of art. And those are the older ones that we have been always doing since 2001 when we started teamLab. So what it is
まあその普通その
normally when you think of video, then you think about 2D art. And normally you would use a camera lens to turn a 3D object into a 2D piece. But when you turn that into 2D using a camera lens, then you will have this boundary layer. You have to have this one single frame of vision.
境界面が生まれて
So there will be this boundary between you and the object, and then you will lose your physical existence as well.
境界面が
But we tried to get rid of that boundary. We wanted to project the people inside of that world.
あるかのようにまあ認識する
So we wanted people to recognize it as being inside rather than losing your own existence. And also, we didn't want to have only one perspective. We wanted people to be able to enjoy this from many different angles and locations.
ものを
So we were trying to, of course, everything is 2D. It's not 3D, but we tried to create that 3D existence. And
まあできてます
that's how teamLab is. That's the characteristic of teamLab. And once you go upstairs, then, as I said, there are
素敵な物
there are. We're not really making physical objects and structures or sculptures. The environment is going to create a new order, higher potential, and then that is going to create a new object. So that the staircase itself is also an art piece where it looks like a boulder that's floating on the staircase, but it's not suspended in the air. It's that staircase itself is creating this special environment, and that environment is suspending that boulder. The higher order of energy is suspending that boulder in midair.
今映ってる
So this, what you saw right now, it was.
これも
So this transient abstract life in return.
も
This is the floor of the room.
まあ絵がずっとこう描かれていくんですけども
And as you can see, this image is continuously drawn, but
秩序構造に
it will morph into an structural object, and then it will keep on evolving and go back and forth between order and disorder.
でさらに上に上がると
And then if you go higher up,
.という
so you have massless suns and dark suns, and of course we have many more art pieces, but
できていて、
the spheres are made only with light. But normally you cannot make a sphere out of light alone. So this doesn't really exist in our real physical world. These light spheres are existing only in our recognition. So in the physical world, they don't exist. They only exist in our brain. We are seeing this in our brain. So
的な物体から、まあ、
so we are transcending from the physical objects into
新しい存在
a new type of existence. We're trying to create those phenomena.
以上です。
あり
Thank
が
you.
とうございます。
Thank you very much. So
常設のミュージアム
now you made this permanent museum in Kyoto.
ますけれども、何か聞くところによると、
But I heard that Inoko-san, when you were young, you came to Kyoto often.
環境とのもともとここに存在する
And
関係性ですとか、
you are interested in the relationship with nature and the relationship with Kyoto. But when you open this new location in Kyoto, are there some your personal experiences that influenced this development of the new location? Or do you see some sort of a unique attraction of Kyoto? Is that reflected on the new building?
始めた当時、
So when I first started teamLab, like I said,
そのまあ基本的に
so basically
空間を
video is about how to create a space and project that onto a 2D screen. And
平面化になる
when you create a 2D through a camera lens, then you're going to create a boundary between you and the art piece.
日本の古典
And the Japanese regular paintings exhibits, they are creating this 2D system that is different from using the camera lens. And I thought there is some sort of a common logical structure that I could mimic.
何かそれは実際は何て言うんですかね、
So, in reality,
個性とかそういうものとはもっと違う
this is very different from individualism. It's more about the logical structure of how people perceive objects through their eyes.
ある種ね、
I think this, the camera lens was invented, and then the post-Renaissance pictures have this different logical structure. I thought it is probably they can be found in Kyoto, hopefully, and that's why I was visiting Kyoto frequently. If you go to temple in Kyoto,
そのままね
then
近代以前の
you have the pre-contemporary artwork that are in the temple and in the shrines, and then I would look at those pictures and paintings and see. I was wondering how I can get rid of that boundary and then make it able to for the viewers to have multiple perspectives and then be a part of that location. I was thinking the people in the past were able to create that. So as I was walking through the temples,
くれたらいいな
I was hoping to create that kind of a system, and so that's how we started out teamLab. And sorry, I'm changing topics, but
全然関係ない話
so again, this is completely a different topic. But
江戸の
in the mid-Edo period, we had this explosion of the traditional art, like acting, and also Somei Yoshino also was invented back then.
その時代できたものですけど、まあそれ以外にも、
So-
まあみんな芸事として
But as traditional art, I think this was the first in the world. But people were
して、
were starting to create new type of flowers. Somei Yoshino is one of the cherry blossoms, but we were able to create orchids and different flowers by cross-pollinating them. And then I think that's the first in the world, first in the history for the general public to create new types of chimeras or hybrid plants. And people were selling them, showing them off, saying, "Look at my breed." So
それがまあ誰か
So somebody has made that, and of course there's a collector who would like to buy that, and then after they buy it, if there was another buyer, they would sell it again. So there was a secondary, there was this like a market for those items. So there's this odd-looking orchid or odd-looking plant,
セカンダリーマーケットみたいなものがあって、
and
今
then there was this secondary market, just like the contemporary art.
その同じ時代に京都だとその応挙とか若冲がいて、
We had Okyo or Jakju in Kyoto as famous artists. And then, of course, they were really super popular.
で例えば裕福な人、
And if there was this affluent, rich person,
屏風
and
して多分すごい高いお金で頼んでた。
and they would ask those master arts to create the folding screen and have a painting on them. But they never went on the secondary market.
でもせっかくはセカンダリーがあって、その襖絵とか屏風が
But the sculptures had the secondary market. And then the folding screens for those master artists, they didn't go into the secondary market. At least as far as I know. But in the modern era, that flipped around, and then those
しなくなり、つまりセカンダリーの対象じゃなくなり、
the orchids or
なんか
those plants didn't go into the secondary market, but they had a very low value, intrinsic value assigned to them, whereas this venue is not a secondary, but I guess some of them are. But there are many artwork that are being purchased at a very high price. So I was wondering why we had that reversal in the phenomenon. I think in the pre-mid Edo era, at least in this Asia or in Japan, this area, people around this general area thought this world was an open system. By open system, I mean
この世界の本来のそのものですね。太陽
it's the world itself. There's a sun and we have rain, and then there's this interaction of energy. So I thought people didn't think this is a closed system. And if it's a closed system, so let's say in the outdoors, let's use easier terms.
実はその石刻っていうのは
The stone sculptures, maybe they're permanent things. Maybe they have a certain life. Maybe they are existing forever. Or that orchid, they may continue to live on forever through different generations. And if you're in an open system, then those orchids can be a permanent thing. And the man-made things like pictures, they would erode and fade away, degrade, so they are not permanent. So I think people in the past, I'm sure they thought this world was an open system, and then the orchids will live forever. And because they live forever, people have a secondary market for them. And then those man-made things like folding screens, they are going to perish one day. Therefore, I think people thought there is no market, a secondary market for them. So I don't want to cause too much confusion or misunderstanding, but I think if you go to Zen temples, then you still have the medium Edo period, like this folding screen of Kano, somebody like the famous artist. But it's almost like it's placed nonchalantly. It's right there in the open. It's almost like in the the elements, and then it's really degrading. And even if you try to look at it, even if you squint, it says like an important cultural object, but it's difficult to see what's written there. So what I'm trying to say is this world is an open world, open system.
この状態で置いて朽ちていくのは別に
So people think it's normal to just leave it there and then let it rot. I'm not sure if people really verbalized it that far, or
例えばさっきね神社の
but
話
and in shrines, for example, because the shrines are open systems, the buildings that people made are going to degrade. They are going to break down. So just like Shikinen Sengu, every 20 years we would migrate that temple to a different location because it's an open system, and whatever that we create is not going to last forever. It's only going to last in a closed system.
でまあ近代に入ると
So in modern era, the objects that people were manufacturing were they are stable as an item. So whether you're in an open system or closed, they were permanent. And then the urban environment is like a symbol of closed system. It's like the entire thing is man-made.
園芸みたいなものは二次流通
And then those orchids, people start to think those things are not permanent anymore, and whatever that we make, be it painting or watches, whatever, those things are perceived as permanent in a closed system. And then many people are starting to think we are in a closed system world. So I think that's there happened the reversal of those value system between the orchids and the folding screens. So again, I'm sorry, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but
まあこの世界を何だと思ってるかによって
depending on the frame you see this, the framework of how you see this world, if it, be it open or closed, then the outcome of what is permanent could be perceived differently. And then, of course,
開いた経
essentially, this world is an open world. It's not closed. You know, this universe is open.
ただ京都は何か
But but Kyoto,
無意識に、認識が変わった中でも
I think even in other cities, other areas, we thought closed system is what we're living in. But at least in Kyoto, we still kept that thoughts of open system, and that's why people in the shrines were just leaving those important cultural assets in the in a regular room to rot. So
園芸とは直接関係ないんです
so
北山大杉をエントランスに置いて
they have Kitayama Daisugi at the entrance of a building, and underneath they have
和ヒバみたいな
Iwahiba, or like a medium Edo period
ここ置いたりで
plants. And then on the upper floors, they would create this pseudo open system, and then bring in light from outside, and then also have our precipitation from outside. And they are trying to create this artificial open system. And maybe in the Edo medium period, maybe they were
天変芸
thinking of those plants as something that's permanent. Maybe some have gone extinct, but some are still living along for centuries.
ちょっと、外と内に置
So
きながら
they would place those plants in outside of the house, inside of those systems.
俺が作ってる彫
And the sculptures that we are making,
まあなんか玉みたいなグオ
we create spheres, and then the objects that I've shown you the paintings. Those are based on the premise that it's an open system, and because it's a open system, there is this order of energy, and then there becomes this existence out of the order of that energy. So that's I'm trying to
ゆっくりと作っていく。
compare and contrast between those things. Right. So thank you very much, Inoko-san. We're talking about when contemporary art becomes history. I think you're almost giving us an answer to that. So next, I would like to talk to Mayor. So there's this open system, closed system from Inoko-san's talk, but can we apply that to Kyoto as well?
いかがでしょうか。
Yes.
定される答えとは違うかもしれない。
Maybe this is not what you're expecting, but what I thought from listening to Inoko-san is with the Kyoto newspapers opening, when you open your business, I had this interview with you, but you were saying how you would create a boundary and then you will lose this existence in that. In other words, Inoko-san, the art you are making is boundaryless. Therefore, the viewer can be immersed in that in that artwork, right? You can be part of it.
好きなお寺の
And
一つはですね、
one of my favorite temples is Saihoji Temple in Kyoto. And I'm trying to be there twice a year at least. And it's really difficult to get a reservation. But I love to go to Saihoji and look at the garden. But there is this clockwise and counterclockwise, and then it looks very different. And of course, depending on the time of the day, if you go slowly, then you can see how it changes the environment from time to time. And then I think that's exactly what Inoko-san is creating. You are part of the environment. You are in there. You don't have a boundary. And also, that garden at Saihoji, it's not trimmed by the artists. There was this flood that happened, and then the temple was in this open system. It was deteriorating, and then there would be moss that would be growing. And then right now, people are still making new kind of the gates and rebuilding. But what Inoko-san was saying is it's the way we appreciate the Saihoji garden. And then depending on also your physical state and mind state as well, maybe things look different.
お庭の形成
So that's the history of how that garden became what it is, and then also because it's part of the nature, you're in an open system. You are adding some, you're adding some steps to this nature's way of creating that garden. And then currently, I think it's at the 1300th year at that garden. And Inoko-san, you come to Kyoto every month and you look at those temples, right? And then did you arrive at your artistic philosophy? I feel that you are in sync with the Saihoji's temple. Right, thank you very much, Mayor. Like you said,
に息づく感性の人は
that's the sensitivity that exists in Kyoto, and that's the way Kyoto people perceive art. So, Inoko-san, you mentioned about this modern art, and there's this historical art as well. You were juxtaposing between the two. And Governor, I would like to ask about, Kyoto is a very historical, cultural city, and
そうですね。
just like teamLab, and just as well as ACK,
の一つとして
we have modern art as the latest lineup of the cultural aspects of Kyoto. So,
新しい
as the mayor or the governor of Kyoto, what do you expect? What kind of new elements do you want Kyoto to come in to have? Well, can I continue on with Inoko-san and mayor's story? So what I wanted to add on to that is, we have a lot of UNESCO World Heritage, and we had this issue with the Kinkakuji Temple because it's burnt once, and people are asking if that's really a World Heritage. And then UNESCO, in the end, said it's okay because, you created the same thing in the same way. You have the material, you have the technology, you have the craftsmen, and you have the garden, you have the nature. Everything is still there as the same unit from the olden days, and you were able to reproduce it in a perfect way. Therefore, we were allowed to call that a national heritage. So just like the Saihoji's garden, we have that Kare Sansui stone garden. that is, the people, the maintenance people are always like creating those patterns in there, and then it's ever evolving. So we have this 1,300-year history in Kyoto. That is because of the many people who have been maintaining those cultural assets. And I think that's something that we strongly feel as the Kyoto people, Kyoto residents. And Inoko-san, this ACK is a new type of an event where the public and the private sector collaborate together. And also it's a collaboration between domestic and international galleries as well. So compared to the GDP, our art market is very small in Japan. And of course, we thought if we can launch this kind of an event, we thought we can bring in more inbound tourists. We did try to bring in a lot of different galleries, and as Yamashita-san know, this 5th year at ACK, we have more global galleries than domestic ones. But just like this theme, when contemporary art becomes history, we think modern art is really difficult to assess and criticize, but if you look at the artists, many of them are quite old. I was thinking more younger people were creating those artwork, but that means I think contemporary art is already starting to form part of the history. And Kyoto has always been cultivating a lot of different cultures, and I'm sure back 1,000 years ago it started out just like this ACK. And I would hope ACK can continue to leverage the city of Kyoto. And Inoko-san's story and teamLab's Voltics Kyoto, I wanted to see how we can associate that between. So can Inoko-san tell me how to connect those two together later? All right, thank you, Governor. So in Kyoto, we were able to open up a teamLab museum. So from here, I would like to talk with Inoko-san and Mayor about what kind of history of, or what kind of discussions did you have to come to a decision to open up a teamLab in Kyoto? So first, Inoko-san, this spring you opened up your Middle East location, and then you are already you opened up so many locations, and then now you are on to the Kyoto location. But you said in Kyoto you had your personal experiences that led to the inspiration of Kyoto teamLab. But how did you start out this discussion between teamLab and Kyoto City? And Mayor, please also join in. I would like to hear both sides of the story.
かなり長い期間をかけてご一緒に対話をされながら京都駅の南部で今回チームラボのミュージアムを開かれたというふうに伺って。
I heard that you had a very long discussion before deciding to open the teamLab here. Sure. I would go on talk about the facts, but I think people in Kyoto understand. But there's this area called Higashi Kujo, and from us, it looks like a melding pot of different cultures. And there are many people who are from the Korean Peninsula. And then from the Kyoto perspective, there are many municipal government-run apartments, and we are thinking of how to develop that area. So 2 years ago, there was this Kyoto City Art University. There is this place called Sujin area on the northern end of the train tracks, and then the university relocated to that place. So we were thinking of how we can redevelop this southeast location. So for about close to 10 years ago, we started to think about that from the previous mayor. We were trying to create this new cultural zone. So we were thinking of maybe bringing in an art university, or maybe bring in a new wind, and such as teamLab, and then make that into a very strong cultural hub. So we created this. We tried to bring in a business committee.
3年の3月に
So in
事業組合
4 years ago, we selected teamLab as one of those community members,
協定というのを
and then we had a basic agreement with teamLab, and now we have teamLab as the latest location. And also, we are going to create the Super Blue Gallery. So this Higashi Kujo area,
誘致というものをどう
we have a lot of these government-run apartments. We wanted to see how we can revive that place and turn it into an art city.
さん
So we have Kai Kai Kiki, Takashi Murakami's atelier that is going to be located near that Higashikujo area as well.
をされたということが
Or I understand that they purchased the land to move into that area. So
私は猪子さんから伺った
I think the Team Lab's concept should be explained by Inoko, but you are opening locations in Tokyo, in Toyosu or Azabudai. Those are some of the upcoming locations, right? And then in terms of overseas, you have Abu Dhabi. So in Kyoto, we have this multicultural areas, but I wanted to create this art and culture frontier, but that also has to fuse together with the local residents as well. And then teamLab raised their hand and said, we will try to be the forefront of that, spearhead that activities.
ありがとうございます。
Right, thank you, Mayor. So this is a collaboration between public and private, and then it's also part of the city development as well.
テクノロジー
And it's interesting that the municipal government is trying to incorporate the technology field into their urban development. And Inoko-san's Team Lab, you are fusing together art and technology.
チームラボさんとして
So at Team Lab, what is your ultimate goal? What are your where are you headed? So you're fusing art and technology, or art and other disciplines,
されているとも思えるんですけれども、
right? So
地域と
can you talk about that, or can you talk about your connections with the local residents? Are there things that you care about when you create the museum? Ah, okay. So you are saying
さっき言ったように
so like I said before, for me,
閉じた経になる中で
as we turn into modern era, people were starting to think this is a closed era, closed system.
振る舞いが
I can see that behavior in people.
それがまあさっきも言ったように
So
重要な文化財の絵画が
those folding screens are just being left to rot, and then we have Shikinen Sengu where we have the migration of the shrines. So and we have those
当時今でいう現代アートのように
we have
なんじゃないか
those gardenings, and then those are probably on the secondary market.
こうまあ京都の中にも色濃く残っているので
And you can see that those traces in Kyoto. So
連続するような形で
I think there's a
作って
I was hoping I can create this seamless transition from the outside to the inside, and then create something inside of a building that can preserve that thoughts of the open system of Kyoto people.
京都にこういったことがこういった場所
Right. So it's great that we have this new location in Kyoto, and
と
as Kyoto,
も
you are trying to support more people. You're trying to preserve the artistic movement. Governor, can you talk a little bit about that? How you want to preserve this artistic movement?
山下さんの質問結構難しい
So I think Yamashita-san's questions are really difficult to answer. So,
あの
so for example,
チームラ
Inoko-san brought the team lab, and then his concept was, I think he's thinking about that exact location. He's thinking about the development. I'm sure you had many discussions, many meetings with Mayor Matsui, but I don't think Mayor Matsui had a say in what goes inside of that building, right? So the municipal government
することはありえ
is not going to, we don't have the ability to say anything, and we're not supposed to interfere with Inoko-san. And Yamashita-san, you mentioned about the fusion of art and technology. I was studying together with Matsui-san. We thought art and technology are like the yin and yang, where we were not supposed to say art and technology as a fusion. That's what we were discussing, right? It's almost like the left brain and right brain. It's logic or intuition, right? And we never thought those two could fuse together. So nurturing artists is, especially in contemporary art, is to create a location where they can exhibit their pieces, and also create a market where those pieces can be bought and sold. That's what a lot of artists are asking for us to do. And of course,
ですね、確か文化予算何パーセントみたいなことがあって、できる限りって、それ財政が豊かな時の話だったと思うんですが、それはやっぱりそういう場を作るということなんでですよね。でそれからこの ACK も一つそういうことかもしれないんだけれども、場というのは場所だけじゃなくて、それに関係する人いろんな方をこう集めてくる。この ACK もですね、猪子さんほとんど結構企業版のふるさと納税ですごいご支援もいただいてますし、ということはただそこに我々行政が入ることで、若干そんな信頼は高まらへんですけど、若干信頼性を高めることによって資金も合わせてこう一つの大きなできる限り大きな塊を作ると、そういうことをやるべきだ。ただそこで重要なのはその方向性を誰かにですね我々は言ってもらわないと、私、市長はちょっと若干文化芸能に強いから、私なんかはじゃあどういう方向がいいのか、しかもその近未来じゃなくて若干中長期的なところのことになれば、どういうのがこれからのいわゆる一つの特定のアートの分野に行政が後押していこうかっていうところについては、かなりセンスというか、誰か貴重なアドバイザーがいればいいかなっていうのはいつも感じているところなんで、そういうことであればやっぱり場の提供と売れるっていう場を特に作るということが一番かなというふうに思いますね。はい、
ありがとうございます。市長いかがでしょうか。
今西脇知事がおっしゃった通りなんですよ。僕らはできることはその中身というよりは場の提供なんですが、さっき東九条にこういうティームラボさんであるとか村上隆さんのアトリエの開会機器さんであるとかを我々が誘致する。それはですね、やっぱり京都という町の最初に私が冒頭申し上げた古い都で、そしてものすごく保守的な部分もあるんです。だけど同時にですね、やっぱりさっき申し上げた学生さんをずっと受け入れてきて大切にしているとか、ある種の京都は開放系がありまして、で私が考えるには例えば数人であるとか東九条っていうのはむしろいろんなバックグラウンド、多様なバックグラウンドを受け入れて、その多様なバックグラウンドがすごく生き生きと創発し合うような場にすごく合ってるんではないかなと。その中の多様性を行政がどうこうするもんじゃないですよ。だから。
Right. So I think teamLab, Inoko-san, they have different personality in that area, in the Higashikuju area. So I think it's really interesting to bring in more people because it's such an accepting, open system there. And in addition to that, I think the way we can help people is
そういうところに現代アートを
we wanted to exhibit contemporary art in more of the traditional art.
空間
we have these historical places. And Inoko-san says that is an open system, right?
現代アートの作家の
So if we can exhibit modern art pieces in there, and then in terms of our policies, we have this artist in residence system, and I call that asterisk in residence. Well, it's at the Kyoto city government. We say we have asterisk in so it's like X in residence. It could be like a craftsman. It could be like a gardener, and we can accept those people.
国内のさまざまな土地のさまざまなフィールドの方々を受け
And we think we should be the promoters of bringing more different talents into this city. So people think we are conservative, but we are very open. I think it's the balance that we have to strike. We think Kyoto is like a nukadoko for pickled vegetables, and we can create this place for the vegetables to ferment, and we're not going to dictate what vegetables are going to go in there, but we can try out, and then those people or the vegetables that are in there can mix together, and then we can have this new air come in, and then new type of microbiome that comes in and turn into the finalized pickled product. So
私ここでバッ
I have this golden badge here.
音がしていて
I heard this kaikado's this drumming sound, and I heard this is like the tea leaf cans. They remade this tin badge out of the tea cans, and the young master of kaikado was
というかこう金属を打つっていう
or teaching how to pound and make different shapes out of these metallic pieces. And if we are in a closed system, then these traditional art are going to die out. But like if you're in an open system, then Kaikado's the master was teaching this technology to the next generation. So this inheritance or succession of technology of Japanese tradition.
使えるっていうふうに
Some people may see that and say, "Oh, I can apply that to this industry, that industry." So I think we can invent new technologies because we have this certain amount of openness, and I think as a government we should continue to promote that. And as a government, we are trying to promote this succession of this technology. It can be the tea ceremony or flower ceremony, or even like a recital of literature. And we wanted to continue to pass down the technology, and I think that is only possible because, as Inoko-san said, we are an open system. We want to open that to people with different cultures,
混ざってもらうか
and we want them to assimilate and then, of course, contribute as well. I think that's really important as the government.
場のお話
So we talked about how you can create the infrastructure, the framework, and then I see you're eager to help the artists.
ところとしてやっぱり先ほどおっしゃってたアート
What's important is the art itself. You said you're not going to touch the content that goes into it. And Inoko-san, you're the one who's making the content. You were saying the art and technology shouldn't fuse. So, or I think that was the mayor who was saying that. So based on that comment, do you think art and technology cannot fuse or they can fuse?
もしくはやっぱりデジタル
Or should I say a digital technology and art, can they fuse together as we create more different artwork? Do you think they come in, as natural partners? I think teamLab is really symbolizing this fusion between art and digital technology. But Inoko-san, can I have your personal opinion on this? Are you asking if they fuse or not?
大きな長い歴史
If you look at the entire long history, then
その、例えばルネサンス以前っていうのは今の
pre-Renaissance or post-Renaissance, we have the
全く
we don't have
絵画っていうのはないで、おそらく
the realism type of paintings anymore, which is because of the invention of lenses.
してるわけじゃないんですけどホックニーっていう
This is the famous artist called Hockney who said the invention of lens or pinhole camera
レンズによって壁にまあ遮影
So, the lens is going to project an image to the wall. They couldn't create the picture itself, so they were only tracing what was shown in the lens. So that was how the Renaissance paintings were made. So through the lens, that lens is going to interpret the what it's seeing, and then that is projected on the wall, and then they would create the painting. So
まあ例えば印象派においても
so for the impressions,
チューブが発明されて、工業化によってチューブが発明されて
so through the industrialization, there was the tubes, and then that led to the impressionists. And I'm not sure of the exact history, but
紫が絵の具で混ざるよりも目の中で赤と青が混ざった方が明るい
rather than the paint mixing together to form purple, it's better to, the physicists thought of this physical phenomenon where you can have red and blue light fuse inside of your eye to create purple. That's more purple than the regular purple you create with the paint. So that goes into the current days digital displays or printing technology.
でまあある種
So there was this large recognition revolution. This awareness revolution has been led by technology and science. So there is this strong tie between art and technology. And of course, in the modern day,
かっていうのは
some artists are
サイエンスやテクノロジーと切っても切れ
are using these strong ties of science and technology and art. So many large installations that people are creating now are using modern technology. You have to have technology to be able to use those large things. Otherwise, you cannot even create them. For example, large sculptures. So I would say there is this tie between technology and art. And of course, if you talk about traditional art, there are many people who use the traditional techniques only. But if you are trying to create a super large sculpture or any piece, then in terms of manufacturing process, when you try to take shape of something, then
話せない
technology is always there. All right, thank you very much. So
方法として
as one of the expressions is art, we have digital technology, and
まあさらに可能性を広げていく
technology is going to only embrace the artist's motivation to create pieces, and it's going to be hand in hand rather than two different layers. And of course, we wanted to continue with this discussion, but we are limited in time, so we would like to move on to the last question to the panelists.
現代アートが歴史になる時という
So again, the theme is when contemporary art becomes history.
最後に、
I would like to ask the governor, mayor, about these artwork that are going to be created using new technology. There will be many more of them coming. And then
というのはどのような
when do you think these new art are going to be part of the history when you provide the location? How do you think you can wrap this up? Again, Yamashita-san, maybe this is not really the answer you're looking for, and I'm going to apologize in advance, but so I just wanted to add on to what we have been discussing. And
でもあるし、まあ5年目
look, this is the ACK venue, and then this is also the 5th anniversary as well. And then we're really happy to have Inoko-san as a guest here. So I talked about in the startup ecosystem, we call it the open innovation. And in the art world, I think the same thing is happening. Many different people from different genres are having this relationship. And then what worries me a little bit with that interaction is Inoko-san said you come to Kyoto and then you look at this open system. Maybe you look at the front porch of the regular people's residence, and there are some Kyoto traditional houses. and they are living their daily life. They're not really thinking about the tradition, but that's how they were brought up. And then they have their own perspective, and they would look at some artwork like the flower vase.
先ほど松井翔が言った
But
工芸士
Mayor Matsui was saying, what I worried about is the actual Kyoto residents who are the ones who are discerning, who are the ones who dictate what's beautiful or not. We cannot force people to say this is beautiful, that is beautiful. But because people have this strong sense of aesthetics, I think you can coexist with the foreigners. So I think it's really important to nurture that a sense of aesthetics. And to answer to Yamashita-san's question, when does contemporary art turn into history?
江戸ってどうしてもきっちり
Meiji and Edo period, people try to draw a clear line between those two eras. But of course, in terms of human resources, there were very
なる瞬間っていうのは多分その
high-performing individuals who are in the Meiji period as well. And
しているうちに、まあ、例えば
as Meiji period kept on going, maybe traditional art would have this innovation, the breakthrough, and then turn into something completely different. And Kyoto has always accepted those large changes, the transformation, and
まあ後継していく
we have always contributed to the growth of those new art forms. So what I'm saying is those artwork, they may have this period of transformation. They are going to struggle through the times, and they are going to have this open innovation across different industries or disciplines. I think that is going to, in the end, ultimately increase the value of the Kyoto city.
とかな
And maybe that is also going to contribute to the evolution of the artwork. And then I always also wanted to talk about teamLab, but yeah, I guess we don't have enough time. So yeah, please talk with Inoko-san behind the stage. And then, so Mayor Matsui, what is required? The governor has said we should be helping, supporting people's evolution.
非常に支援されています。
And you are already supporting many different people in the art field. But as a city to continue to evolve, what is required?
お聞かせください。
いやなかなかそれは難しい。
That's a difficult question to answer because
ことについてどこまで抱える
how can we contribute to the evolution of artwork? I don't think we should be too arrogant and think we can do something. But Kyoto,
そのものの例えば妙見寺さんであ
we have Myokenji Temple, we have Shosen-en.
あるいは
There are some buildings and gardens that are the history of Kyoto itself. And then Kitamura-san, who's done the renovation of Nijojo.
上場で
So at Nijojo Castle, we did the Anselm Kiefer exhibit, and we had Anselm Kiefer's art piece. Then the way we perceive Kiefer's art piece changed. There are many people said that I agree with that. So maybe through providing locations, I have this theory where we think by the backdrop or the environment, and by changing the how you feel about the environment, you're probably going to have this different impression of the modern art. And maybe the artists themselves are going to have this the awakening, and then maybe they can use that inspiration to their next artwork. So what's important from us, we cannot directly contribute to the evolution of those artists. So we should be focusing on how we can provide this environment to those people so that they could have their own revelations. And then there are other artists that haven't been to Kyoto, so we can bring them into Kyoto and then engage with the Kyoto artists. I think that's what we have to do as the government. And what I resonated with Inoko-san was Ise Jingu. That's not a world heritage yet, right? The Shikinen Sengu. I think those things
事について、
Nishiwaki-san, the governor, you talked about the Kinkakuji Temple, which had this issue of becoming a World Heritage. The paper and trees or the wood is really difficult to preserve, and like Inoko-san, you said this folding panels were rotting away in the weather, but we have preserved this the technology to build the exact same thing, or we have this culture of continuing to migrate the shrine every 20 years. I think that should be assessed more as a World Heritage.
ものについて
And for World Cultural Heritages,
がその標準を作ってきたもの
because the stone-based artifacts have been creating that history, but for us made of like paper and wood,
世界のさまざまな
we should
どう捉えていくか
try to disseminate that information. This ACK exactly is. I have been looking at this from the lounge on the second floor, but I thought this Shiraki wood and maybe that Banpoku Expo, Osaka Expo's wooden ring, they are going to rot away after centuries. But I think the modern art being expressed here in this wood that's in the open system, that's going to rot away. And also the left brain and right brain, they are two opposing spheres in the brain, and they are
というのが従来の常識
normally if you look at it through a lens, then you would have this boundary layer, and you would lose your existence in that art piece. But
アフヘーベンがそこに
I think there's this off heaven that is happening right now.
京都府さん京都市含めてです
So this is how the prefecture or the city of Kyoto, and also we have the head of the ministry or the agency of culture.
ことが問われているのかなと
I think all of us as a municipal government is questioned on how we can create this new art city. Right. Thank you, Mayor. So thank you very much for your opinion on how we can wrap up this really large grand scheme of contemporary art becoming history. And we are running out of time, so we would like to close this session as of now. And once again, I would like to thank you all three panelists for your precious perspectives.
それでは改めまして登壇者の皆様ありがとうございました。
Okay, thank you very much. And the ACK talks will continue on today and tomorrow to talk about many different themes. And this talk will also be available online, and it's always going to be archived as well. So please continue to enjoy ACK talks. Thank you very much.